for tuning in. Microsoft Entra ID, also known as Azure Active Directory, shouldn't be just treated as an identity services. Underneath Entra ID, we have a lot of security features. For example, you can enable multi-factor authentication for your users. Optionally, you can give access by utilizing conditional access policy from specific network, specific geography, and even from certain operating system from which a user can log in. Now, when you are trying to access Azure resources, Entra ID also generate a lot of logs. And depending upon what flavor of Azure Active Directory you're utilizing, these logs varies for how long you can keep it. For example, if you're using an Entra ID free, you can utilize these logs or see these logs in the portal for 7 days. And if you're using the premium option, you can go back 30 days. Now, what happens if you need to keep these logs longer than the default options available within Entra ID? That's where archiving of these logs will come into play. Let me show you on the Azure portal how you can achieve it. Alright, so I'm logged into the Azure portal with my credential. Let's go and search for Azure Active Directory. Under Azure Active Directory, from the left side of the blade, I'm going to go under the monitoring and let's expand diagnostic settings. And we're going to add, I'm going to name it MyAD logs. And as I mentioned, there are different kinds of logs Azure Active Directory will generate, starting with audit logs, sign-in logs, service principal, risky user logs, and what logs you want to archive, you can pick from here. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to pick sign-in logs, and I want to archive this to a storage account. And the moment I select this, you can see I can specify the retention days. Now let's say, for example, if you don't specify any retention days and you leave it to 0, the data will be stored indefinitely in that specific storage account. There is also a cost component or the consumption that will be incurred by putting the log in that storage account. So I want to retain this data as for my company policy, let's say for 180 days, right? And I can specify to which storage account I want to archive this. So for this example, I'm going to pick this one. And optionally, you can also send the data to a log analytic workspace, and you can also integrate with Microsoft Sentinel, which is a SIEM and source solution. And you can run queries against these logs. Now you can also have this option of streaming to an event hub or even to a partner solution. But for this example, I'm going to just archive this to a storage account, and let's click on the save button. So the diagnostic settings were updated. And if I go to my storage account, let's say, and you can see, I don't see any logs right now because it takes some time for that logs to be ingested. But what I've done is I want to show you a sample logs by going to a storage account with the name AD log storage account. And if I go under storage or data storage, you can see I have some logs activity here. So if I go and expand this, I'll be able to download these logs. Let's say I want to download this. And this is in JSON format. You can always convert that to a CSV file. So let's go and download it. And now, if I want, I can open this up. Let's open this in Notepad. And here you can see these sign-in logs can be utilized if you want to drill down in any security implication that you might be having in your organization. This is very good for the compliance perspective, as you can keep a track of which user is making any changes to your Azure resources. So you can see the timestamp over here, which resources they were trying to access, and what changes they have made to those specific resources within Azure. Hopefully this was useful. Thanks for watching. Have